like 22 versus 32. People seem to really respond well to my last test of 32 versus 22. They say they love the 32 caliber. And what I mean by 32 caliber is 32 Smith & Wesson long. It's one of the oldest 32 caliber cartridges out there. It's about as old as the 38 Special. And it's essentially scaled down 38 Special down to 32. That's really what it is. So what I wanted to do today was test non-expanding bullets. And the reason why is because 22 caliber is one of those calibers where you might not get much expansion, and if you do, it's going to limit your penetration anyways if you get a bullet that will expand. So why not use a high quality bullet that is non-expanding just to maximize your penetration? And that's kind of the idea behind a 32 that's non-expanding. What I have today actually is a wad cutter. I just happen to have that. I have some 32 Smith & Wesson long wad cutters, 100 grain wad cutters, non-expanding. I should do a really good job on a ballistic test. And to compare it to that, I have the 40 grain Blazer by CCI. And basically what the Blazer is it's the mini mag, except it's not plated in copper. It's the same stuff. It's, you know, a 40 grain bullet rated at 1235 feet per second. But I've noticed in some of my testing in the past, I haven't released all these videos yet, but the common theme is hollow points keep jamming on this feed ramp. So if we can get a bullet that doesn't jam on that feed ramp, that's definitely more ideal. So we're going to do a test against this Blazer 22 versus the Smith & Wesson long, and our little pocket guns, our Beretta Bobcat with the 2.4-inch barrel and our Ruger LCR and 327 mag, firing those 32 Smith & Wesson long. So we're going to go through the chronograph. We're going to see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time. And then I have my ballistics gel block out here. And what I like to do is simulate a quote-unquote gut shot versus a chest shot. And what I have is 3 inches of clear ballistics, 10% clear ballistics, followed by another 16 inches. And then we have a 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard that represents ribs or sternum. And this pretty much takes away 2 inches of this. And it also helps to aid in expansion the way an actual rib cage would do to a real bullet. So we're going to go through this and see how those cartridges compare in a gut shot versus a rib shot with gel versus MDF. And then we're going to shoot our steel silhouette. That's a full-size ISPC size. And I'm actually going to go back from 75 yards. I've gotten so many comments saying 25 yards, that's not practical. Well, forget it. I'm going to do what I want, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to shoot from 75 yards just because I feel like it, and I want to see what these handguns will do at that distance. So let's get started with the test. All right, first up we have our 32 Smith & Wesson long through the LCR revolver. It's rated at 900 feet per second, probably through a much longer barrel, but let's see what we get through this LCR. .814. 825, 818, 820, 806. So relatively consistent. I'm happy with that. Let's move on to the 22 and see how those Blazer 40 grains do. Also want to point out that I actually carried this thing today as a backup, just to kind of see how it carries. And I came over here and I have it down here. You can't even really see it, but got this nice little ankle holster, and I carried that today and did pretty well. Felt pretty comfortable. So safety's on. Let me cock that hammer. Let's see what these Blazer 40 grain lead round nose will do. Target ammo. .806. It failed to clear that. That's not really a jam in a traditional sense. It kicked out a bullet. Definitely not ideal. But let's try to get some more reads here. .866. 858, 864, 840, All right, let me run this round that I kicked out right here. Or, yeah, accidentally anyways. Just get one more read if I can. 872. So again, that's very consistent. My group is printing high. I'm aiming, you know, at the bullseye there. I'm hitting a little bit high. So overall, these are really consistent. And considering the shape of these bullets, even having that lower energy than something like a CCI Velocer or Aguila Interceptor, you know, it's going to slip through a lot easier what we hit. So let's hit our ballistics gel block with that medium density fiberboard and see what we get. All right, let's see what our 32 will do through our medium density fiberboard, our simulated rib cage, and let's see what this wad cutter will do. All right. So what we're seeing here is it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It did drift down a little bit, but what we're looking at here is we're looking at about an even 16 inches. Sometimes when we get to the edges of this block, because the camera is a widescreen, it'll be really accurate for what it looks like on camera here. But when you go over here, it's gonna look like I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm like inches off, but 16 inches. So that's actually 18 inches if we add into the fact that that's medium density fiberboard. Takes up 2 inches typically, but this will actually expand more. So what that means is I think that the one without the medium density fiberboard will actually pass through. It probably will, just barely. So I'm gonna go now just do the gel, and I put up a water jug just in case we get a pass through. So let's see what this will do. All right. And that is very interesting. I did not expect to see that because it looks like from here, the one through the medium density fiberboard actually expanded or maybe deformed just a tiny bit. This one did not. That's just really weird, as that's not typical. You know, typically this stuff is going to slow you down, and it did not slow you down. And this is one of those times where this equation's wrong, but I am very pleasantly surprised with this. We're getting, you know, 16 inches through that and through without it. That's totally awesome. Like 16 inches, that's perfectly ideal. It is not over penetration. I mean, this is awesome. Let's see how that 22 does. All right, 22 long rifle with just our lead round nose. Let's see what happens when we go through the fiberboard. All right, so what we're looking at here, it might be kind of hard to see on camera, but it is back there, and our damage path is at about 10 3/4. Now, if you were to add that equation, that's going to be 12 3/4, but the equation doesn't always equal out, but I'm going to call it at that. Now let's go through without the fiberboard and see how that does. All right, through denim into bare gel, let's see what this 22 will do. All right, that's very interesting. So we have a little bit less deformation. It's behind this path here. I'm going to have to flip this so that you can see this. This will be a lot better here. So let's line this up here. So our first 22 is up here, and it's about, like I said, 10 3/4. That would equal 12 3/4. Typically, we have a flattened nose. this one, we're at 12 even, 12 inches even. So about 1 1/4 inch difference between the fiberboard and that. And that equation I first calculated with like gold dot hollow points. So it's a little bit off with different calibers, but it, you know, you can see that there's just a little bit more resistance you're gonna get through a quote unquote rib shot. And you can see up here, it's, you know, we have deformation. This one is not, but I'm gonna say both of these would be ideal as far as our penetration, because we're basically hitting 12 inches. And when I was running the Aguila interceptors, those did excellent. However, we were looking at equating to about 10 3/4, something like that, as where this is actually doing it. You know, there's just that little bit of difference. And that was a 40 grain hollow point, moving a little faster by about maybe 75 feet per second. This one's moving a little slower, but yeah, we're getting a deeper penetration. So very interesting here. So let's shoot from 25 yards like I said I was gonna do. I know it's a ridiculous distance, but let's just see what we get. All right, 75 yards. I have all my ammo back here. I got this buffalo bore wad cutter, but I only have 8 rounds of it. So I did hand load some 32 Smith & Wesson long, my own, with a 100 grain XTP. And even though I went over the maximum charge, or I was at the maximum charge for like a 90 grain bullet, these are still only moving at like 525 feet per second in my LCR. So it'll be kind of interesting to shoot those. And then obviously I have just that Blazer lead round nose for the 22. So let's get to shooting. And those wad cutters probably don't have the best efficiency, ballistic efficiency. So shooting wad cutters at 75 yards out of a snub, and it's a 32, I don't know. So let's just see what I can do. Just aim right on it and see where these things go. Couldn't see because there's smoke. Okay, they're shooting really, really, really high. So I'm gonna aim about 2 feet low, maybe from the bottom of that silhouette. Those are a challenge for sure. I got a couple more of those. Actually, I have one more. Let's try to get this. All right, so definitely not the best round to try to get some distance on. Let me try my hand loads. These things are ridiculously slow, but maybe it's what I need to kind of arc it over like a football throw or something. I don't know. So let me aim right on it. That took a while. That's ridiculous. I'm aiming at, you know, right at the shoulder where the neck area cuts off for the head area of that target. I'm aiming right there. It's so far I can't tell where they're hitting, but that's where I'm aiming. You know, these are fun to shoot. Keep trying. Those are really accurate because I felt myself jerk the trigger just a hair to the left, and that's where it hit on dirt. Interesting. I know this type of stuff makes the videos long, but this is too much fun. Whew. This round I could almost give Buffalo some competition, not quite. All right, we got our 22 long rifle. These were mid 800s feet per second, so that should be right on. Just to aim right in the center there. All right, so when I started making those hits, I aimed just a hair to the right. So load up this gun and shoot some more. All right, so what I discovered there, just kind of playing around with my holds, is it's only wanting to hit if I hold exactly at 5 o'clock on that target. So I guess I'll just keep doing that. And see what we get here. Five o'clock hold. All right, so it looks like I'm probably impacting low. I can't really even see my hits on target, so I'm not 100% sure where I'm hitting. My guess, it looks like I kind of see stuff printing a little bit to the right. So I'm probably a little off on my hold. So I'll have to experiment with something else a little bit here. Go in a little bit more from 5 o'clock. Just a hair. I think that should be it. Okay, maybe it's more like 3 o'clock. It is hard to try to do a sniper rifle thing here with cheap pistol and the cheapest ammo you can find. So we'll try that 3 o'clock hold. All right, it's pretty much a guessing game with this ammo, but that was fun nonetheless. So I guess it's possible to be accurate at a little bit of a distance with short-barreled handguns. It's not particularly ideal, and there's definitely not a whole lot of application for that type of thing. However, there's some, I suppose, if things get bad enough in the country. But interesting to shoot around with this stuff. Very, very fun. And my ballistic performance I saw, the ballistic performance we got was excellent. I was kind of surprised. I would carry both of these. This was not 100% reliable, so I might have to keep searching for something that's more reliable. But as far as a 40 grain lead round nose, I think, you know, this is pretty much where we want to be for the most part, unless I find something better. So that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.